I'm joined by Finance Secy and Revenue Secy Tuhin, Kanta, Pandey and DIPAM Secretary Arunish, Chawla. Welcome to NDTV Profit, sir. I would like to start with you. Budget, the announcement seems to be, towards consumption side. In fact, if you talk about the capex is lower than the expectation. What's your take on that? Is it the change of stance from the government?
I don't agree. Because if you really look at the capex, what is the capex in? They have two numbers. One is a number on direct capex by the government. Another is the capex in terms of the grants which we give to the states, which are used for capital assets. And both numbers are given in the same statement. The capital side and this, and they're added together. The number for this year's, for this budget is 15.6 crores, lakh crore. So that is a 17% growth over the RE numbers of both the sides. Now, if you really look at the implementation side, of course, we had projected a certain number last time on the direct capex, where we had sort of due to paucity of time last time and because of elections and others, we couldn't really spend the whole thing. So there is something which is there. And from that point of view, 10% increase there in the direct capex. If we put together, that is a 17% increase. The 17% increase in the capex is not to abandon capex strategy at all. That's a very, very good thing. And if we are able to spend, I think that will really be, on the capex side, will be pretty good boost. Let's not think binary. What we are saying is we must fire all engines. We must fire all engines. And to some extent that, the tax relief which is going to come for the middle class, for in fact everyone down the line, that would be invested also. So there will be consumption, there will be saving, there will be investment depending on the choice of the people that they have. So therefore we are increasing the choice to the people, and everything will come back to the economy. So I think we are having a more balanced approach.
Actually, two arguments are emerging after the budget thing. That one is, of course, that focus being on the consumption side to boost consumption, and that's why we have seen the tax cut. And the second argument that government now wants a lot of private participation. Do you agree on that?
Well, government has always been saying that, the private sector must come up and pick up the thing. Whenever you have a situations of some crisis like COVID crisis, when we have problems of recession, then I think the Keynesian thing would be that, the government should step in and increase the investments. But eventually, the private sector must take over because that is where the structure of the economy is. Obviously, government will be important in infrastructure. But to the extent PPP in infrastructure can come in, why not?
True.
Because government has multifarious responsibility, and it should not be the responsibility of the government alone to really carry on the thing. And ultimately, when we are talking of savings or investments, they are compositionally three things: households, private sector, corporate, and the government. And all three put together make an aggregate saving and investments. So therefore, one of them does it, or two of them do it, and three of them do it. I think if all three will really be a better strategy than only if the burden falls on only one of them.
True.
And when we give it the money back to them, then the household investments also are going to be pushed up.
I would come to on the personal income tax changes, but Mr. Chawla, I would like to know from you. I understand that there is no separate target for disinvestment, but I wanted to understand this time you kept a target lower down rather to 33,000 crore, and for next fiscal you kept a target of 47,000 crore. How are you sort of planning to achieve that in the current fiscal also and the next fiscal?
I would first like to clarify, as you rightly mentioned, there is no fixed disinvestment target. As part of the value creation, or you can say value optimization strategy, we balance between flow of dividends, management of assets, as also performance and capex by the public enterprises. And this has been done consciously because we want to keep the interest of minority stakeholders in mind. We want to reward ordinary citizens who have reposed their faith in us and invested in public enterprises. And as I mentioned, we see the dividend incomes as well as value of assets and their monetization together. So that is the first thing. And therefore, as part of that strategy, as you know, we are on track to achieve the dividend targets, maybe exceed them this year. And next year, we are already working on a strategy where we will achieve the targets or the overall goals that are there in the budget, and we also do it in a manner that takes care of the ordinary investor, as I said.
I will come to you on that again, but before that, I wanted to ask, sir, on the changes which was brought in the personal income tax regime with the 12 lakh up to 12 lakh income. Could you please elaborate a bit how this is going to benefit taxpayers, and also in terms of how this will increase the disposable income for them?
Well, just look at it. I think we have also put out the FAQs, also given the tables. If you go to CBDT handle and also in the annexure to the budget speech, every slab will get the benefit. No matter where you are, you will get the benefit, because we are changing the slabs. We are rationalizing the slabs as 0 to 4, 4 to 8, 8 to 12, and so on. So the rate of 30%, which was there, and 12 lakh income, 12 lakh and above. Now this 30% will occur only at more than 24 lakhs. Similarly, we have introduced one 25% slab, because it was becoming it will jumping from 20% to 30%, and there was nothing in between. So we have uniformly brought 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So there is a gradualism in the whole. So there is slabs have also been widened. Earlier it is 0 to 3. Now we have 0 to 4. So that means 0 to 4 lakh people don't have to even file the return. So, and then of course correspondingly, everywhere that benefit is flows. And the charts will show you exactly how much of the benefit you will get it. So everyone will get a slab benefit, rate benefit. Then the second is a top-up. The top-up is on to the people who have income of up to 12 lakh. Earlier we are doing a given top-up in the form of a simple rebate. You calculate what your tax is as per the slabs, and if your income is up to 12 lakh, the rebate will make it nil. So up to 12 lakh, you don't have to pay any tax. Now, if you are a salaried employee, you would have another 75,000, which is added, in the sense that 75,000 standard deduction is actually subtracted from the income. So when your total gross income, the standard deduction is first deducted, so you will automatically, your income is reduced by 75,000. So you get that benefit as well. Then those who are at 12 lakhs, you would say that just above 12 lakhs, I mean, they will actually stand to lose as compared to the one who is just below the 12 lakhs.
Correct.
In order to do that, we provide a marginal relief in a manner where the whole thing is gradual, and they themselves will always get that additional benefit of that, the prior, rebate. And then additional, by up to 12 lakh 70,000 odd, marginal relief is given, and that is given in the law itself. So we have taken care of all these contingencies and produced a thing, and in a way it is a precursor to what reform we would have really indicated in the new tax bill which are going to introduce. Of course, new tax bill is far more comprehensive, but some of the slab reforms we have attempted will actually go into that.
I would like to know more about the new income tax bill, which FM also said that it will come next week. So if you could highlight the broad contour of that, what would taxpayer can expect? And this will be a replica of the direct tax code, is it?
No, actually, we are not calling it a direct tax code. FM mentioned that it is a new indirect tax bill. I mean, direct tax, income tax bill. So she has indicated that it will be written in a different format. The language will be clearer, direct, more like active, and the kind of new language which is easy to understand for a taxpayer. A lot of redundant provisions will be taken away. The chapters will be rationalized. So FM has mentioned it in the speech that close to half of the words and half of the chapters are going to go. So it will be a major thing, and the objective is that simplicity many a time is a public good. And if we make things simple, many people believe in that, they trust the whole system, and it reduces litigation. And the tax administration also, their interpretation and the interpretation of the taxpayers, they somehow should police. And that is the purpose of this new law.
I would like to know the maths of that, but before that, Mr. Chawla, on the, lot of emphasis budget put on the asset monetization. Now, how you seeing that in terms of, is there any plan? Do we see more listing happening in the current financial year, because we have still 1.5 months left, and in the next financial year also? How about some of the banks are not meeting the minimum public shareholding requirements?
This year, whatever we have already announced is on track, and we will meet the targets by March. For the next year, whatever plan we have, we have forecast and we have projected, we've already started doing the homework for it. When we talk of asset monetization, we are talking about asset monetization as part of a strategy, a composite strategy.
Correct.
Which includes not just monetization of assets that are there in CPSCs, but essentially monetization of all different physical assets that lie within the public sector in various forms. And as far as the purely stock asset monetization targets are concerned, we are on course, and we will achieve it as part of the composite strategy.
So do we see a strategy like more on, stake sale happen in next financial year? And also, if you could give a sense on the IDBI, which is the ongoing one, what is the status there?
Okay. IDBI is on track. It is an advanced stage. I will not be able to give market sensitive information. And as far as other assets are concerned, I think I mentioned clearly that it is part of a calibrated disinvestment strategy.
Okay.
Which essentially means that we are not going to throw away our family silver overnight. We are careful. We watch market conditions. We see investor appetite. We optimize value. And we maximize returns to our minority stakeholders, which is the ordinary citizens and Aam Aadmi who have reposed their faith in us.
And the approach towards the value creation, as Sir has been talking about. So, on the fiscal math, I would like to understand here is that revenue foregone, if you see, you underline that it's 1 lakh crore in terms of direct taxes, and in indirect taxes, the foregone is 2,600 crore. How you sort of compensating or offsetting that with a higher target of the tax collection and the revenue receipts? How you strategizing that?
Well, I think if you look at the personal income tax, we have been growing about 20% year on year for the last few years. And our buoyancy has been of the order of 2 plus. So this year we have assumed a buoyancy of 1.4, which is 14% growth on personal income tax. We have moderated it because of the cut that we have made both in terms of slab rates as well as the rebate that we have offered. So we have taken it on board while framing our revenue numbers.
One last question, sir, on the compliance part. We have seen in the TDS and TCS, how this going to help the entire scheme of thing in terms of ease of doing business on taxation front, particularly?
I think that will be on several fronts, because TDS is deducted by various people. And, you and me also deduct TDS, and many transactions for a particular threshold, we are supposed to deduct TDS. So sometimes it becomes, the TDS become TDS. And so this tediousness is that we are trying to remove by improving the threshold, reducing the number of rates so the people remember 0.1, 1, 2, like this. So that not too many rates, not too much of a complexity, simplicity, and if it is not required, we don't do that. For example, in case of some sale of goods, we had some interpretation problem. The people were also levying TDS, but there were also suppliers and buyers were also, the suppliers were also making TCS. So we have said, okay, why not we take the TCS out in case of the same transaction, so that there's no interpretation problem. So there's a lot of compliance burden we are trying to remove, and also giving a relief. For example, in case of senior citizens, what we are saying is 50,000 was a limit earlier for the TDS. We are saying 1 lakh.
1 lakh, yes.
So this is where, the TDS will not be deducted up to an income of 1 lakh.
Understood.
So this is the kind of rationalization we have done, and with a view to improve compliance and also give relief to the people in terms of TDS deduction.
Quickly, one line, sir. Import duty cut has been announced on the motorbikes, on the imported items. Is this a kind of measure to combat US tariff policy? One liner on that, sir.
Well, I think there have been demand for deductions, and we found that these are very heavy motorcycles, and some of them are being manufactured also. And we have also a graded thing there. That means completely built units are on the higher one, and the semi knocked down on the lower, and completely knocked down the lower.
Yes.
What we have done is we have uniformly lowered the roads for all the 3 categories, so that with the same object of domestic manufacturing, we are actually reducing duty. And in fact, we have reduced duty in many other products also. From critical minerals, we set 2.5% to nil.
Yes.
So we had have something, and then we have done rate rationalization.
Correct.
And that
duties.
That has also led to, and then we have said surcharge we will not levy if there is a cess.
True.
So we have 82 lines, we have removed the surcharge, and so on and so forth.
Thank you so much, sir, Mr. Pandey and Mr. Chawla, for sharing insight with NDTV Profit. Thanks a lot.